So this is what I'm using for my 3D prints right now. It's Elegoo ABS-like and in gray, so it looks a lot like the standard Games Workshop model. It's just a little bit lighter. And then I was having issues with the screen, or the build plate, popping and sticking to the FEP film. So the thing that I did was, one of the guys in the local hobby shop chat group said that he used 2 pieces of Scotch tape on either side, and that gives you just enough of an air gap that the FEP film can come and peel nicely from your print. The other thing I'm doing, which tons of people all over the internet have suggested, is also adding a layer of 3-in-1 PTFE lubricant, and that seems to also help with print reliability. But the big thing was the air gap, because I did get some good prints immediately after doing that. You might also notice I've got the Adeptus Mechanicus stickers on both of my machines. Then I'm just using the Diablo 2 Collector's Edition memory stick. You apparently can't use NTFS, it has to be FAT32. I think exFAT also did not work for the memory cards. So when you see people on Amazon and other places complaining about, oh, it won't read my card, it's like, well, did you make sure that it's formatted to the right format? That makes a big difference. So my current print that I'm doing is, you can see how dense that is. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's like the entire build plate. A quarter of it is purity seals, at least half is heads, and then I've also got a few shoulder pads that I'm trying out, and a backpack for the sergeant, and more targeters for Death Watch, backpacks, and a few other miscellaneous bits. So when that gets done printing, I will show you the results. This is my 3-stage setup. First I do 91% ISO in the wash and cure. Then I do 99% ISO in this little bucket to do a clean rinse. And then I got my dirty water, which is purified water, as a final rinse to get the ISO off. Once this is dripped off, bring it over to a towel and just do a spot check. That is one stuffed build plate. I've got all kinds of heads, purity seals, the backpack for the sergeant. We've got more targeters. Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of scum on there. Just a little bit. Stuff just brushes right off though. So, yeah, it turned out pretty nice. This is what I'm going to be doing for all of my Space Marines. Come on, focus. Nameplates. So every single guy is going to be getting a custom nameplate. It's something that I'm 3D printing. I designed it myself. Created the this piece in Tinkercad, and then I bring it over to Blender to put the custom font on. So it's pretty cool. It wraps halfway around, and it lets me put their name, their title. So this guy's just your standard grunt, so he's brother Felix Alba of the Ultramarines. We've got 4 out of the 5 intercessors ready. and I've named them with nameplates. I'm going to be doing this for my entire army. First up, we have Brother Felix Alba of the Ultramarines. All 4 of these guys are limited to chainsword and heavy bolt pistol, so that's what they're going to be wielding. I had to get creative later in the group. So Brother Felix is pretty straightforward. He's got a special Ultramarines helmet with the logo on his forehead. That's the guy that I did for the first video to show how to chop the shoulders and do a total shoulder pad replacement. Now there are several different ways to replace shoulder pads. You can also make a mold using green stuff and do a green stuff press on raised shoulder pad on a blank. You can hand paint it. You can apply a decal. You can do a stencil. There are also 3D printed transfers that you can stick on that I'm going to try to do at some point. But I think for the most part I'm going to stick with chopping off the shoulder pad because it doesn't take that long, and I think it looks the best. I mean, it looks like it's part of the model. And it makes it easier to paint too, having the raised plastic. So that's what I'm doing. So we've got Brother Felix Alba of the Ultramarines, Brother Batu Tigranes of White Scars. We also have Brother Kelshen of Raven Guard. He's got this crow skull hanging from a chain. I'm not sure if I want to put that over his shoulder or glue it to his collar as though he's wearing like a necklace or something. That's what it's supposed to be, as a necklace. Or I might just leave it out completely because he has some other flair that I'll show you in a bit. And then lastly we have Brother Arlor Breck. He is of the Iron Hands, and this guy I had to get fancy with because the only Iron Hand in the kit has a plasma pistol, and only sergeants can have a plasma pistol, and I didn't want Brother Arlor to be a sergeant, so I had to 3D print my own. And they didn't have any Iron Hands with a heavy bolt pistol attached, so I had to go in a blender and make my own. I used an existing Iron Hand from Cult 3D or cults3d.com, and then I also found a bolt pistol kit on there, and I was able to do some creative chopping and stitching to make this. But I 3D printed it, and it looks pretty sweet. And then he's got the Primaris Upgrade Iron Hand shoulder pad. Now let's go through the flair for each guy. Okay, so Brother Felix Alba. If you're interested in these nameplates, I can make them for people. Just let me know. Shoot me a message, either on Instagram or YouTube, and I'll can work something out if you want me to do a custom order type deal. I'm thinking about opening a Etsy store to start selling bits and pieces and custom stuff that I make. So, starting with Brother Felix Alba. He's got the targeter on his backpack. Obviously he has a Deathwatch pauldron. This is the standard arm that came with the Intercessor kit in the Recruit Edition. He's got the upgrade kit, basic Ultramarine shoulder pad. He's got a 3D printed Purity Seal on the right leg. Another 3D printed Purity Seal on the left hip. And then that's pretty much it. He's a pretty straightforward dude, low rung, probably new recruit to Deathwatch. Screwed up in the line of duty, and now he's paying penance. And then he's got the Ultramarine helmet with the little logo on the forehead. So this is Brother Batu Tigranes. He is a White Scar. So he has the White Scar upgrade shoulder pad from the kit. He's got the targeter. Like all my Deathwatch, they want to have eyes in the back of their head. This thing kind of swivels around and spot checks and targets enemies. Obviously a Deathwatch shoulder. He has a White Scar chainsword with a tassel. Kind of adds some flair. It's like it's moving as he's running. On the back, he has a special white scar piece of flare there. It's like a, got probably horsehair or whatever their, I guess you could call them spirit animals are that the white scars are into. For Raven Guard, it's like crow heads and all kinds of bones and stuff. But he's pretty straightforward. He doesn't have a ton of purity seals attached. I might add some later. Needs a little bit of cleanup, but yeah, he's looking pretty good. His pose, while it's not like the most dynamic, it's like he's just getting ready to run. He's kind of looking around, making sure that the squad's not about to get flanked. Next up, we have Raven Guards. Brother Cal Shen. Now he gets the beak helmet, Corvus helmet. This is that crow necklace that I was talking about. I think I showed a picture on my Instagram. And if you want to see cool pictures of the things that I'm working on, I regularly post up to Instagram. So this is a necklace that I found on either Thingiverse or Cults, and I'm not sure if I want to like hang it over his shoulder or hang it like cut the chain off and then like glue it onto either side of his my son, on either side of his collar. Yeah, I think it'll be a cool piece of flair, but he already has some crow bits that I'll show you. So Deathwatch shoulder pad. This was one of the standard arms that came with the kit. Continuing to rotate around, he's got a Raven Guard bit of flair. He's got bird feathers, a skull, probably, I think that's like a spine that the skull is hanging on. I thought that was really cool. He's got the targeter. Over here, we've got a Raven Guard reliquary. This is like something that you would, it's a holy item that might store like ashes of fallen brothers kind of things. They carry these into battle with them. And then he's got his standard bolter arm with the upgrade bit Raven Guard shoulder pad from the, I think, the Primaris kit. This guy is just a badass. So I call him Iron Handsome, but his name is Brother Arlor Breck of the Iron Hands. And this guy took a lot more doing. I was up pretty late last night tweaking his bits. So the only Iron Hand that comes in the Recruit Edition has a plasma pistol, and the plasma pistol goes to the Sergeant. So what I had to do was 3D print that, and it turned out pretty well. Like, you can meshes in nicely with the upgrade bit from the Iron Hands upgrade kit. And he's got kind of an extended magazine too. So I'm thinking about giving him a marksman bit upgrade somewhere, like on his chest or belt pouch or something. But yeah, I think that turned out really nicely. I had to do a lot of surgery. There are some pictures on my Instagram of how I cut the pin down on his shoulder, drilled this with a hand drill, slid the arm on, got it all glued up and posed just right so that he's perfectly level, like he's charging, shooting while he's charging. It's really deep charge too, like he's full on diving into this. So he's going to be looking straight on as he's like blaka daka daka, and looks pretty badass. So he also has kind of a reliquary thing from the Iron Hands upgrade kit. He already has a purity seal, but he has an Iron Hands specific purity seal here that kind of blends in nicely. I had to do that because this guy in the Recruit Edition has the option to either have a chain sword on this hip belt. This is actually a separate piece that snaps into the model. Starts from like here and goes back to there. The helmet normally hangs on this version of it. And then the other version is this. The other version is that. So you can see that kind of notches in there like that. So the helmet was hanging on that. I'll show you the helmet. This is the helmet that was on there. And I had to cut it off So I'll probably reuse this helmet in a base, like maybe an objective base, like you're going to recover the body of a fallen brother. But I wanted to hide that surgery that I did, so I put a purity seal right there, an Iron Hand specific one, and I think that played out nicely. You don't really see much. Once it's painted, it's going to hide a lot. So then he's also got the Deathwatch targeter, and looks pretty sweet. I really liked how this guy, turned out. And then he's got his head bit. That's going to look really badass, looking straight at you as he's charging. So those are the 4 regular Assault Intercessors from the Recruit Kit. Now, moving on to the Sergeant. This is the guy that I'm going to do for the next video. And I'm going to show the whole process because I just wanted to rip through those other 3 Marines to get them done. It would take me forever if I tried to record and comment on everything. So, this guy, this is going to be an Imperial Fist. He's got this really dynamic charge, and this is the original bits from the kit. So, I just kind of picked this guy as the Sergeant because I really liked how deep charge he was going, and Sergeants tend to be just melee badasses. But I don't think it's right that he's got a chainsword. Like, you can kind of pose it a little bit, but it's weird that he's got his chainsword across his body. You can do a Thunder Hammer or a Power Fist. You can also do a Plasma Pistol or a Flamer, Hand Flamer. So I'm not going to do the Plasma Pistol. What I'm going to do, take this arm off, and I've got a literal Imperial Fist. And that is going to go on here like he's full on doing Smash Captain charge time. Granted, he's a sergeant, but I think that just looks right. He's putting his shoulder into it. He's got his big ass fist right out in front of him. Yeah, he's going to go ape on somebody. So I'll show that process. I'm probably going to drill this so that it can slide onto half of this bit. Just to give it a little more stability when I'm gluing and getting it set up. So I need to figure out the pose so I can figure out which direction I'm going to drill, and I'll show that process. And then lastly, he's going to get the Deathwatch Sergeant helmet. This comes in the Deathwatch kit, and it looks pretty cool. It's got the Inquisition eye on the face, and that'll pop him nicely as a sergeant. So that's the process that I'm going to show in the next video. Stick with me and you'll get to see how it's all done.